Right, guys, we have the first big contest of the 2022 season, Força Bruta, happening in Brazil this weekend. Lizzie, tell us all about it.
Now, you say first big competition, but in some ways it's also the littlest in terms of the amount of events that the athletes do and the amount of competitors actually in this competition. So let's quickly go through everything you guys need to know. So Força Bruta has been running since 2013 and they've only ever had 3 events in this competition. They used to have a larger lineup, but since 2016, the annual event has only ever had 4 competitors in it. The largest lineup was in 2014 when they had 9 athletes compete. The competition has attracted some quite big names over the years, and previous winners include Brian Shaw, who's won it 3 times, Dmitrii Skosyrskii, Dmitrii Skosyrskii, Terry Hollands and Rauno Heinla. So the lineup for this year's competition includes JF Caron, Rob Kearney, Rauno Heinla and Dmitrii Skosyrskii. I am so sorry, I have almost definitely butchered his name, but he is a Russian athlete and he is apparently Mikhail Shiblakov's training partner. Now, if you haven't heard of this guy, he came second to Yevgeny Markov at the 2020 Amateur Arnold's, beating the likes of Gabriel Pena. And just a fun little fact, last year he won a competition in Russia called People Are Stronger Than Machines. Now, in terms of watching the competition, according to, on the Strongman subreddit, according to Sexy Ass Dilf, you can watch it on Esporte Espectacular, which is the biggest sports news channel in Brazil. And what they do apparently is show each event, they stream each event between other sort of news articles and sporting features. But they do upload it all to YouTube quite quickly. So I will include a link for the Brazilian TV show. If you're not in Brazil, you'll need a fancy ass VPN to watch it, but you will be able to watch it on YouTube soon after anyway.
That was very well done, Lizzie. I think you enjoyed a few of those words as well, didn't you?
Sexy ass Dilf, I enjoyed.
You clearly enjoyed that one. Right, so let's get down to this year's contest. You've got 4 athletes.
Yes.
Shivlakov is over there. He's the defending champion.
Yes. Well, he's not defending because he's not competing.
Well, he's the last champion.
Yeah,
he's come over with Dmitrii. Dmitrii is his training partner, very good up-and-coming Russian athlete. Yeah. Then we've got the old horse, Mr. Rauno Heinla.
How dare you? Yes.
I know you will defend him till the death.
To death.
Rauno's not in his best shape, though, is he?
No. Move on.
Move on. And then we have 2 athletes that... This contest is a really interesting one because it's had some incredible athletes competing in the past. Yes. Obviously, the list of winners that you just mentioned was unbelievable. But it's a very small contest in terms of athletes and events. Like, it's more of an exhibition in my eyes than the contest. But when I say that, we've seen Dmitrii Skosyrskii go and break the log record here in 2015, hitting his 228. We've seen some incredible performances on deadlifts, some huge numbers for reps in the past.
They've had some very heavy events in the past.
It's a real mix. When you look back at the history of the events, it's very, very different. And the really interesting one for me is knowing you've got Rob Kearney and JF Caron, both a few weeks away from the Arnold's, and 3 events that they're not prepping for the Arnold. So that's a strange one. I can't, from like that athlete's point of view, I cannot see them giving 100% in this contest.
You think they'll use it? Well, it's not even a training session if it's not.
It's you know, if they're doing like a heavy deadlift for reps, which they have got, they've both got squat for max. They don't have deadlift in the competition. Now that some people might think, well, they can just go flat out.
Yeah.
3 weeks out from the Arnold's, they don't want to be going flat out. They're going to want to be sort of starting to, obviously, big squats they're both focusing on. They're looking really to have their last heavy sessions in terms of prep for that and then start to back off for the Arnold. So it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 approach this one.
Let's quickly go through the events in this competition. So there's a truck pull. There's a deadlift for reps. We're not certain about weight yet.
But when we look at the weights in the past, it's been heavy.
Yes, it has been heavy, yeah. And there's a bag toss as well, a series of ascending weights.
So nice thing with a bag toss, that doesn't take too much out of you. It's not one of the central nervous system killers. The guys will be able to go flat out on that and they'll recover from it no problem.
Yeah.
Heavy truck pull, that can be tough, and obviously a deadlift for reps if you push to the limit can be very tough. And you've got 3 excellent deadlifters in there that we know of. I'm not sure how good a deadlifter Dmitrii is. I have had a look at some of his past results, and it would say he's a little behind those three.
There's very little data, so it's hard to compare to those other guys.
It is, but we know how good Rauno is when he's fit and healthy.
Rauno can deadlift even when he's not fit and healthy. He can. Well, you saw what he did the other week. He'll be fine in the deadlift.
Didn't he do 340 for 11
reps? Yes. He'll be fine in the deadlift and the
that's
bag
340
toss.
kilos, so that's like 740 pounds.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about him on the truck pull, and I have asked him to be careful. It's like, shut up and go away.
I think looking at the events, I think JF Caron is the standout favourite for me. He's got height for the throw. He's an amazing deadlifter, and he's a decent truck puller. Rob Kearney, his deadlift is good. You just don't see it being as good as JF's.
Yeah.
He lacks height in terms of the keg toss, which isn't always a factor. We've seen how good in the past Lalas was.
Yeah, Graham Hicks is very good as well.
Graham Hicks is good. So, when you can make up for it with power, it's different. But also, sometimes being a bit smaller doesn't help you on a truck pull as well. So, for me, I'd favour JF, but it depends how focused JF is on the Arnolds.
It's really interesting when you look at the lineup. Only 4 guys. You've got Rauno, who's carrying a bit of an injury. You've got 2 that really need to be thinking about the Arnolds. And then you've got Dmitrii.
He's up and
This
coming.
is an opportunity for him against some of the top names in the sport to really make a name for himself. He's going to be going flat out, surely.
Absolutely, he's going to have to. I think... I personally sat here, I think knowing JF, knowing how laid back he is, knowing how he approaches things, for me, he's the favourite. He really is. He's been looking incredible in his prep for the Arnolds, particularly in the squat. And if his squat's big, his deadlift's big.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose that deadlift strength. It's going to be an interesting one. 3 events is so hard to call.
It is, because there's no real opportunity to make up any points anywhere when there's only 4 guys as well. So you just have to do really well on all 3 events.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's going to be a fun event to watch. We will tune in and check it out, and we'll bring the results to you guys afterwards. But if you are interested in watching, Liz has attached a link.
Yeah, links are in the description below. Let us know your thoughts about this very small formatted competition.
While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.